Hey, welcome back. It's Jason Walter here. In today's video, I have some news to share regarding California home sales and home prices, so stay tuned for that. I also have some other housing market updates towards the end of this video, so stay tuned. And by the way, if you're new here, welcome. I post videos about how this pandemic is affecting our real estate market, so I invite you to subscribe and join the family. Also, hit the like button if you appreciate real estate market updates just like this one. Also, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right into the video, and I'm going to share my screen with you right now. So this is the October home sales and price report, compliments of the California Association of Realtors, or CAR. And they just released this report just a couple days ago at the time of this video. And this is again for October home sales in California only. So it says a continued record low mortgage interest rates sustained California's housing market in October as home sales and prices took a breather from September's record high levels and still recorded double-digit increases from 1 year ago. This is what the California Association of Realtors is saying. Again, obviously we have record low interest rates. I believe we have hit a record for mortgage interest rates 12 times this year, and the average for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is below 3% still. So according to the CAR, they say October sales dipped 1% from 489,000 in September and were up 19.9% from 1 year ago. So we are seeing that home sales are dipping slightly, but when you compare it to 1 year ago, we're up almost 20%. So it's pretty significant. It's also very common during our market during this time of year, which is in the mid-November. It's for sales pending activities to decrease. So it'll be really interesting to see early on next year if we continue to have an upward trend of our real estate market, especially in January and February, where home sales tend to pick up. In any case, CAR's president Dave Walsh stated the following. He said, "The market is unseasonably strong as motivated buyers continue to take advantage of the lowest rates in history. The ongoing momentum will keep home sales elevated for the next couple of months, and the housing market will remain a bright spot in this struggling economy." It also says that after setting new record highs for 4 straight months, California's median price dropped on a month-to-month basis for the first time in 5 months. We have been seeing record high home prices in California for 4 straight months. So this is the first month in the last 5 months that home prices have been going down. So they say that statewide, the median price stayed essentially flat in October, but it did go down 0.2% to $711,300 from September's record high of $712,000. CAR's senior vice president and chief economist, Leslie Appleton Young, had a good quote here as well, because this is really going to be interesting to see what happens with COVID and affordability. So they say the question that remains to be answered, however, is whether the strong market is sustainable in the longer term as market fundamentals continue to be tested by tight supply. We have very low inventory, which I'll discuss here in just a little bit, and eroding housing affordability, and most of all, the rising number of COVID cases. So housing affordability, I actually made a video about that just a few days ago. If you missed that video, I'll leave a link up here and also leave a link in the description below regarding that, because we have been seeing home prices increase at a much higher rate than what interest rates have been decreasing. So affordability has been decreasing lately, and I made a video about that in case you didn't check that out already. In addition, COVID cases, that is definitely something to be concerned about. I actually looked on Johns Hopkins University's website. Total number of global cases is reaching 57 million. And then in the US, we're reaching almost 12 million COVID cases ever since this pandemic begun in beginning of March. And right now we're at 251,000 deaths in the US due to COVID. And this is causing cities and states to go back on to having more restrictions, and that will certainly or could have an effect on our real estate market because, for example, early on during this pandemic, real estate agents in California weren't even allowed to meet with their clients face-to-face because we had these stay-at-home orders. So if that happens again, and it happens in multiple states or across the nation, obviously that's going to affect our housing market. So it's something to definitely follow. And now, of course, I wanted to make sure you're aware of that, of course, as well. So going back to this report from CAR, they have a monthly consumer housing sentiment index. They do this on a monthly basis, and they basically take a poll about, hey, is now a good time to sell and is now a good time to buy. So their poll found that 59% of consumers said it's a good time to sell. That was up from 47% from a year ago. They said only 31% of consumers who responded to the survey say that now is a good time to buy a house. I'd love to know your thoughts about this. Do you believe now is a good time to sell, or do you believe now is a good time to buy? Just leave me a comment below, buy or sell. Really be interesting to see what you guys think. All right, so let's talk about this on a regional level. So sales on a regional level increased in October in all major regions from last year, with growth rates of more than 10% in all but the Central Valley. I'm going to go over what happened in the Central Valley in just a little bit, and that was because housing inventory is very, very low. So they say the Central Coast had the biggest increase in October, with sales growing by 28%, followed by the far north of 19.4%, and the San Francisco Bay Area, which was up 18.9%, but not in San Francisco. And I'll go over that here in just a little bit. And of course, Southern California increasing in sales by 17.5%. So they say that more than 4 out of 5 counties, which is 43 of the 51 tracked by CAR, experienced a year-over-year gain in closed sales, with Mariposa increasing the most from last year at 126%. Honestly, I don't even know where Mariposa is, but it's remarkable. They've had an increase of almost 127% there. They say 7 counties decreased in sales, with Yuba declining the most at 16.5% from last year. I made a video about this as well just about a month ago, but sales in resort communities like Big Bear, Lake Tahoe, Mammoth Lakes have all been seeing a surge of activity in recent months, or ever since this pandemic begun, really. But it says that sales in resort communities cooled down slightly over the past few months, but remained robust in October. So housing demand in Big Bear, which includes Big Bear City and Big Bear Lake, which is more or less in Southern California in the mountains, continued to surge, with sales growing 125% from last October. It says while sales growth has slowed from prior month, Lake Arrowhead and South Lake Tahoe have both recorded strong sales in October, with year-over-year growth rates at 47% and 29% respectively. Actually spent some time in South Lake Tahoe. Actually lived there for a couple of winters when I was a ski bum a long time ago. But sales in the Lake Tahoe region tend to be fairly slow. It's more of like a seasonal place to live, whether you want to live there or visit there in the wintertime to go skiing, or in the summer months to enjoy the great outdoors. But we're seeing a huge uptick in the number of people who want to live in resort-like communities, especially for those who want to have more space, and also for those who have the ability to work from home. It also says that sales in Mammoth Lakes, which is close to Los Angeles, which is a great ski town there, also jumped in the nearest month with a gain of 55.6% from last October. And here's a really important thing that I found to be really interesting. It says through the first 10 months of the year, home sales in these resort markets have outperformed the state of California in general. So they're seeing home sales in resort communities outperforming the whole state in general. That's just quite remarkable. It shows that there's a big amount of demand for people who want to live in resort-like communities. I mean, can't blame them, right? So home prices in resort areas also grew at the fastest pace than the rest of the state. In October, Mammoth Lakes median price increased from last year by 37%, followed by Lake Arrowhead, which is 34%, South Lake Tahoe, 29% increase, and Big Bear, 26%. And that's quite remarkable. Mammoth Lakes, home prices grew 37% compared to 1 year ago. It says with housing demand remaining robust in these resort communities, price appreciation in these areas should continue to outpace other markets in the state in the coming months. We will see. So let's talk about median home prices. The Central Coast led the pack again with an increase of 25.9% as high-end homes in Santa Barbara and Monterey continued to surge. Santa Barbara also had the highest price increase, gaining 64% year over year. However, on the other side of the coin, San Francisco was the only county with a drop in price, and its median price declined 1.5% from the same month last year. So we're seeing a lot of people who are leaving San Francisco and other larger cities and moving to the suburbs to get more space inside and out. So let's talk about active listings because this is a driving force in what's happening in our real estate market right now. So according to CAR, most regions declined more than 40% from last year. The Central Valley had the biggest year-over-year drop of 49.6% in October. And I live and work in the Central Valley. I'm a real estate agent in Sacramento. Our housing inventory is down about 55% when you compare it to 1 year ago. And that, of course, is affecting home sales. Even though home sales have been going up, they could be going up even greater if we had more houses available for sale. We have that high of demand in our market. So this is really a big reason why we're not seeing the Central Valley have as much sales activity compared to other areas. They say that Southern California, which is also down 46.6%, and then in the Central Coast, active listings are down 46.5%, in the far north, down 41%. And it says that 49 of the 51 counties reported by CAR experienced a year-over-year decline in active listings in October. 49 out of 51 counties in California that report to CAR. We're not just seeing this in one area of California, we're seeing it overall in the state, which is quite remarkable. And San Francisco and San Mateo remain the only counties in California with an increase of active listings from the prior year. So active listings in San Francisco are up 34% compared to the prior year. Shows that a lot of people are getting their houses listed and moving. The median number of days it took to sell a California single-family home was 10 days in October, and that was down from 24 in October 2019. And this October 2020 figure was the lowest ever recorded. So on average, houses are selling in California in 10 days. And personally, what I'm seeing in Sacramento is sellers are getting multiple offers within just a few days, and houses are going pending, sometimes within just a matter of a couple of days. So you have to be very quick. In addition, houses in California are also selling very close to the asking price. So overall, statewide sales price to list price ratio was 100.2% in October 2020, but it was lower than that in October 2019. It was only 98.5%. So it's showing that on average, houses in California are selling for more or slightly more than what the sellers are asking for. Really interesting to see that. In addition, we talked about interest rates. Obviously, interest rates are very, very low, 2.83% in October, and that was down from 3.69% in October 2019. Of course, we talked about that in my video about affordability. Interest rates have been decreasing quite a bit, but home prices have been increasing at a much greater rate, and that's further affecting housing affordability. So let's go and take a deeper dive on a regional level in California, and I'll show you what we're looking at here. So again, in California for a single family home, these are not new houses, by the way, these are existing single family homes. The median price right now is $711,000. The price dropped by 0.2%. However, when you compare the median home price sold compared to 1 year ago, up 17.5%. And then sales are up almost 20% when you compare it to 1 year ago. The Central Coast had the highest price increase, 25.9% when you compare it to 1 year ago. And the number of sales also increased 28%. Goes to show that they probably have more inventory than in the Central Valley, for example. And in the Central Valley, we have sales going up only 9.9%. In the far north, the prices only went up 12.8%. Only, which is crazy because, I mean, this is half the Central Coast home price appreciation, but still 12.8% in 1 year. That's still a hefty price appreciation. So let's talk about the San Francisco Bay Area. So San Francisco, the median home price in October, $1.6 million. And that actually decreased when you compare it on a year-over-year basis by 1.5%. However, sales are up 15%. So pretty different story when we look at the outlying areas of the San Francisco Bay Area, because when we look at Alameda, Contra Costa County, Santa Clara, price appreciation all above 10%, whereas San Francisco is actually losing value there. When you also look at sales, sales are up in San Mateo County and Santa Clara. In San Mateo County right now, the median home price, $1.7 million. It goes to show that home prices in the Bay Area are still increasing, except for San Francisco. So that's a reason why we're seeing people leaving the Bay Area and moving to more affordable areas like Sacramento, for example. Nothing against the Bay Area. I love the Bay Area. I just want to point out that there's a lot of people that are fleeing the areas. All right, let's take a look at Southern California. So Orange County actually increased 29.3%. They were the highest gain of sales activity when you compare it to 1 year ago, but Ventura only up 1.9%. And feel free to pause this video too, because I'm going to be going through this fairly quickly, and I'm sure a lot of people are curious about what's happening in your area if you live in California. So the Central Coast, we're seeing a huge amount of activity in the Central Coast. That is Monterey, San Luis Obispo, and Santa Barbara, and Santa Cruz. I went to university at UC Santa Cruz, by the way, and I can't believe the average of the median home price there is $1.1 million now. Any case, in Monterey, the price has increased 32%. Santa Barbara, 64% increase when you compare it to 1 year ago. Santa Cruz, 22%. And then sales have also increased well over 20% in each of those 4 counties. All right, so let's talk about the Central Valley, where I live and work as a real estate agent. Placer County, that would include Roseville, Rockland, all the way up to North Lake Tahoe. So a really big area. So right there, the sales have increased 42.4% when you compare it to 1 year ago. In addition, Sacramento County, the median home price right now is $440,000. Gosh, when you compare that to 1 year ago, it was $385,000. So that's an increase of 14.3%, and then sales have increased 8%. So even though we have inventory down in the Sacramento area of about 45 or around 55%, sales have increased 8%. So it goes to show how competitive our real estate market is here. All right, let's talk about the far north region of California, and let's talk about Plumas. So Plumas, the price appreciation there is 40% when you compare it to 1 year ago, and sales are up 53%. Quite remarkable. Other counties to note, Amador County, which is a great area if you want to go wine tasting, about 45 minutes southeast of Sacramento. Sales increased about 53% there. And we look at Mariposa, again, 127%. And then Mono, sales are up 60% when you compare it to 1 year ago. Okay, that's what we're seeing in California. So let's talk about home building in the U.S. So I found this article. This is on the National Association of Home Builders, and they say that home builder confidence has reached a new record high and actually shattered the record. It says, in another sign that housing continues to lead the economy forward, builder confidence in the market for newly built single-family homes increased 5 points to 90 in November, and that was up from the previous record of 85 in October, shattering the record. And this is according to the National Association of Home Builders and Wells Fargo's Housing Market Index, which was just released just a few days ago. It says that builder confidence levels have hit successive all-time highs over the past 3 months. So each month has been hitting a record high for builder confidence. So it says here, a really good quote here. It says, historically low interest rates, of course we know those are well below 3% right now, favorable demographics, and an ongoing suburban shift for home buyer preferences has spurred demand and increased new home sales by nearly 17% in 2020 on a year-to-date basis. So it really makes sense that there's a lot of people who are leaving the cities and moving to the suburbs. That's where home builders build houses, right? So home builders are really taking advantage of this as more and more people are moving to the suburbs to get more space inside and out. So it says, though builders continue to sign sales contracts at record pace, lot and material availability is holding back some building activity. For example, lumber prices have been skyrocketing during this pandemic. Let me show you briefly that. So in January of this year, lumber prices were around $400, and this is per 1,000 board feet of lumber. They actually went down slightly in April, but ever since April, have absolutely skyrocketed to above $900 in the beginning to middle of September of this year. So that was more than double the price of lumber in January this year. So obviously that's causing the cost to build houses. And for people who want to do remodel projects, add on to the back of their houses, that's really increasing the prices for people to do that. However, more recently, those lumber prices have been decreasing, and right now we're right around $600. So just want to point that out. So anyways, going back to this report from the National Association of Home Builders, they say, however, affordability remains an ongoing concern, as I mentioned in my video, as construction costs continue to rise and interest rates are expected to move higher as more positive news emerges as a coronavirus vaccine front. So if we do get more positive news about these vaccines working and being introduced into the U.S., I do actually agree with this, that interest rates could increase because that's going to ease people's concerns, and also believe that could potentially lead to more listings as well, as more people get confident about listing their houses amid this pandemic. All right, last but not least, let's talk about single-family home starts because those are at the highest pace since the spring of 2007. So they say that this is, again, compliments of the National Association of Home Builders, and they say that led by selling gains in the single-family production, overall housing starts increased 4.9% in October. Single-family starts increased 6.4%, and that was up 8.6% year to date. And housing starts, of course, is the beginning phase of the construction of a new home, as you can see in this picture right here. Anyways, say that single-family permits were approximately flat in October, which suggests housing starts will level off in the months ahead. So permits did not increase at the rate of housing starts. So yes, if they don't have as many permits, obviously they're not going to be building as many homes as the months approach us here. All right, last little tidbit here I want to share with you, and they say that single-family permits actually increased 0.6%. So for single-family houses, the permits actually increased 0.6%. However, when you compare it to multifamily, the permits actually decreased 1.6%. And I talked about this in my other videos as well, is that single-family homes, the construction of that is absolutely surging, whereas multifamily construction is actually decreasing. So it's really interesting to see that continues to be the case because more permits are being pulled for single-family homes than multifamily units. And that is today's housing market update. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. That helps support this channel. And also subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. I post videos about how this pandemic is affecting our real estate market. You also can follow me on Instagram. I'm Sacramento Realtor. Hope you have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.